Okay, peoples, World Cup cocktail time with Tim continues with jolly old England. Now, England is one of 8 nations that have actually won the World Cup. Now, it was a few years ago. It was the year of my birth. I was mere 15 days on this mortal coil in July 30th, 1966, when England beat West Germany 4-2 at Wembley Stadium. And since then, they've always felt football should be coming home. And so most of my English fans that I know treat every World Cup with this sort of arrogant optimism combined with existential dread. And they seem to have really perfected those two feelings at the same time. But I think this year there's actually room, there's actually the idea of optimism that the fans should be sharing, because they've had recent success. In 2018, they went to the semifinals. In 2021, they went to in Euros, they went to the finals against Italy and narrowly lost. So there is that optimism, and they got a wonderful draw from their perspective. They're playing the Yanks, the Welsh, and the Iranians in much inferior competition in their viewpoint to be able to get through. So they are punching their ticket, they're counting on those victories, and they likely will happen, but we have to play the games to see what happens. And of course, all of that is tempered by, in the Nations Cup, they had a 4-0 shellacking at Wembley by the Hungarians. So those two combinations, again, arrogant optimism and existential dread, sort of personifies how I think most of my English fans will be approaching this World Cup. So let's get to the cocktail. So we're going to make the quintessential English cocktail, which is the gin and tonic. Now, the key to the gin and tonic is the ratio, right? Now, so I think personally, a 2-to-1 ratio is the way to go. 1 part gin, 2 parts tonic water, and it's beautiful. Any more, you start to water down the drink a little bit. Any more, and you start to, it feels kind of boozy to me, very gin forward. So a 2-to-1 feels like a perfect combination. Now, the origin of this drink, you have to go back to the 1850s. In India, colonial power, and many an officer were being struck down by malaria, or a British soldier was being struck down by malaria. So science had come forward with this quinquina bark found in Peru, which turned into quinine powder, mixed with a little bit of sugar and soda water, became tonic water. And they were issued these amounts of tonic water to drink on a daily basis to ward off malaria. And then it was some enterprising lieutenant in the British Army that decided that their half a pint of daily gin allotment mixed with this wonderful tonic water would make it even taste better. And combined with the lime, there you had it. So that is essentially the origin of the gin and tonic. And let's get right to it. So first, you want to fill a nice glass with ice. Now you want to use the larger cubes. You don't want to use crushed stuff because you don't want it to melt too much with these. Next, you want to find a nice London dry gin. And here I'm using Plymouth. It's one of my favorite London dry gins. There are many others. Haymarket is Hayman is another one that I like as well. But there's many. Bombay Sapphire, you just go down the list, Tanqueray. They're all pretty nice. I prefer the Plymouth. So I put 2 ounces in there. And in terms of the tonic water, yeah, you can use a Schweppes or anything else, but why not upgrade your game? I've talked about the Fever Tree before. Wonderful mixer. In this case, I think the Folkingtons, the Indian tonic water here from Folkingtons, is also wonderful. So I'm going to put in 4 little ounces of that. Now, I should say that the tonic water that they used back in the day, in the 1800s and early 1900s, isn't the same, right? You would have to, I think it's got 1/1000th of the quinine in it now. So it's slightly bitter compared to really unquaffable without lots of sugar and soda water before. But this particular one is a nice, lovely little tonic water. All right, so I've added the 2 in there. I'm gonna take a little wedge of lime. I'm gonna squeeze it, drop it right in there. Give it a stir. And there you have the quintessential English gin and tonic. And I will be rooting for England, except when they play the United States. So cheers. Here's to success and Qatar, except when you play us. Bear, I hope you faceplant. Cheers. That is lovely.